Alright, so what we're going to do first is our quality of service check. We're just going to make sure that these lines do have 120 volts on. So we're going to check from neutral phase 120, neutral phase 120, and between the two phases we should have 240. We know our service is good that we just hooked up. The next check we're going to do is we're going to check to see if there's any backfeed coming back from the house. Maybe the customer hooked up a generator, or he's borrowing power from a neighbor, and you'll see that power. We want to make sure that's not there. So we check from here to this phase, we should have 0. Check from here to here, we should have 0. Phase to phase, we should have 0. That means there's no voltage present coming back to us. So now that we've checked the quality of service, we've checked for backfeed, we want to check our single phase loads. So we want to make sure that there's no load, maybe the main is on, or if we have a fault on that, either one of these phases, a ground fault, it's going to read 120. So when I read across here, we should have 0 on both of those. So we're checking for faults and checking for that single phase load. If we have 0, we know we're good. If we read any type of voltage, any abnormal voltage or 120 volts, we need to stop and have the homeowner maybe open their mains, come out and do the check again. If we still got 120, that means one of our phases are grounded to wherever it's at. Okay. So the last check, now that we've done our check for load, we're going to do our 240 check, which means we take our jumper, hook it up from our neutral to our phase. First thing we want to do is check our jumper to make sure it is working. If this is working, we should be able to have a grounded connection to our phase, so that should read 120 volts. That tells us that it's grounded down here. Ground to phase would be 120. That means our meter or jumper is working correctly. And we're going to jump over here and check. We should read 0. If there is if either of those legs are together, that means that those legs are together, and because we put this jumper on, we've made it at earth potential. Earth potential to phase would read 120 if we had a fault between those two legs. If we have 0, we know we have a good meter check.